Hey, Wembugging World Entertainment, and unfortunately, yes, it's coming back. Yeah, Rings of Power Season 3. They've given the release date, and it's coming back this year. Yeah, we were all expecting it to actually be pushed to next year because production on this thing slowed down and was delayed and everything else, but this they put out your first image of Sauron. Yeah, so shall we dive into the actual article that talks about it? Because it's just like, oh my god, the show is actually coming back, and it's like, why? Why does it have to come back? But let's dive in, I suppose. So, this fall, the past comes back to haunt Middle-earth and some Lord of the Rings fans. Season 3 of Amazon's fantasy series, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, a prequel to the Lord of the Rings movies and books, has been playing coy with its release date, but it's now been announced that Rings of Power Season 3 will premiere on Amazon Prime Video on November 11th. Amazon released a new image of Sauron to accompany the news, depicting him with his famous crown. Yay, look, it's Sauron with his crown and what seems like black hair. So this dude went from having short, not blonde, but not black hair, but kind of strawberry blonde almost, to long blonde hair, which obviously he was pretending to be an elf and stuff, to now seemingly black hair. As like, why? God only knows. And yeah, just this image has pissed everybody off. So, Rings of Power is based on J.R.R. Tolkien's appendices, which tell the story of Middle-earth before the events of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, in an era called the Second Age, although many fans dislike the liberties the show takes with Tolkien's works. You think? Like, the amount of things they've changed, added in, done here, there, and everywhere. Like, where's Caliban? He's gone. You know, they keep saying he's dead, even though it's like, well, he can't be, because him and Galadriel have a child together at some stage. But of course, they keep shipping her and Sauron for some reason. So, the series takes place after the defeat of Morgoth, a powerful Dark Lord who sought to rule Middle-earth, and chronicles the rise of his successor Sauron, the villain of the Lord of the Rings, as well as the creation of the Rings of Power and the last alliance between elves and men. Now, apparently in Season 3, we're also going to actually see, so they're saying anyway, that we're actually going to see the formation of the actual One Ring. Because they've done it all out of order. You were supposed to get, or you think it was the Rings of Men done first, and they just made practically all the rings first. And it was just like, this is so stupid. Why are they doing it this way? And now they're trying to say, oh no. We're going to show you the creation of the One Ring. It's like, okay, but you're still putting everything out of order. And I'm pretty sure we all remember how Gandalf, who they denied was Gandalf, ended up being Gandalf, how he got his name. Do you remember? It was when all the Harfoot said, "You're a grand elf, Mr. Elf. You're a grand elf." And he went, "Oh, Gandalf." It was like, oh no. We were all joking that they would do that. And then they went ahead and they did that. It was like, why would you do that, you morons? It's so stupid. She's gone. Remember, she left to go and be an activist in real life. He was just a moron. Don Lemonis over here. Good God. So the Rings of Power Season 3 follows a decline in viewership for the series in Season 2, which followed an inaugural season that saw some middling numbers as well. And that was the thing. They lost something like 40% of the audience from the first episode to the last episode. I think it was actually higher than that in season 1. Season 2 was received even worse. And what's funny is after season 1 came out, if you remember when season 1 premiered, you had all the headlines, all the articles saying, oh, what a great show. It's fantastic. We love it. It's true Tolkien. It's true Lord of the Rings. Blah, blah, blah. And as soon as it ended, they all turned around and went, hey, now that it's over, can we actually say how shit it was? And it was like, you're kidding us, right? Like, you were pushing the narrative of this thing was a must-watch. It was a must-see. It was one of the best things ever created. And as soon as it ended, you flipped the switch and went, yeah, it was actually garbage. Disa. You know, good God. I'm actually surprised I remembered her name. I actually kind of forget so much of this stuff, and it's just a joke. But Guy Gladriel and all this stuff, and it's just like so much of it is out of sequence. So much of it is missing. Characters who shouldn't be there at this stage are there. Characters who should be there aren't there. It's just like, what are you doing? The Siege last season as well, when they were like, hey, let's just keep firing all the catapults in this way. Actually, you know what? Let's change direction and fire it over that direction and take down the mountain and block the river. And it's like, you do know how water works, don't you? The water's not just going to stop. It would go around and stop. It was just like ridiculous. And people go, what about dams? Dams are used where water can still come through. That's the point. They're building just an outright dam. Like where the rocks are blocking halfway up the mountain and halfway up the city, the water has to go somewhere. It was just so stupid. Not to mention, how did they manage to turn the catapults and fire the things that far and do that much damage? It was so ridiculous. But so much of it was ridiculous. They had the character. Do you remember the character that was Sauron's basically his little right-hand woman, the little blonde girl who he manipulated into getting her to really try and help forge the rings quickly and stuff. And then they killed her by dropping her off the wall. And they tried to make it this big, emotional, impactful moment, and everybody sat there and pissed themselves laughing. It was like, is this meant to be like emotional? Don't even know the bitch's name. It was like one of those, what's her name? I don't know. Do you know her name? No. You? No. No one knew her name. It was like, you dropped her off a wall and tried to make it this big, like, oh no, Thingy Bob is dead. And it was so funny. But yeah, unfortunately, Rings of Power Season 3 is coming back. And from everything we're hearing as well, is they are going to force through Season 4 and 5. That they want to actually just finish this show. That they're not going to cancel it. Which I think is a mistake. Being the fact that they spent $1 billion on this thing. That was when it was in New Zealand. Then they upped it and moved it to the UK, where they've now built another studio for the thing. They've added, from what we're hearing, another $1 billion to this thing. And you're not seeing a return on it. You're not getting viewerships. You're not getting new subscribers. Nobody likes this shit. Gary at Nerdrotic actually only brought up yesterday on, or the other day, on the Real BBC, like, is there any Rings of Power merchandise? Like, there's tons of merchandise for the Lord of the Rings. You can buy your statues, you can buy your comics basically off it, you know, there's games off it, there's other books covering it, there's all this stuff, t-shirts, posters, mouse pads, everything. Nothing seems to have Rings of Power on it. Except, of course, when they Amazon re-released the actual books and they changed the covers to the Rings of Power images for some reason. But I'm not looking forward to this. I'm sure you guys aren't looking forward to this. But do let me know what you think of this, and should they just pull the plug on it? Let me know, because otherwise we're going to keep getting more of this shit. So with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like and share and subscribe and hit the hype button and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I will catch you in the next one.